I would say, we met with you last time that we met as a group, and we focused on a best practice, which is really all around servicing the world and uh, a particular audience that meets as a creator meets. It's an area that you have an interest in serving. So it's a combination of our creators have to have certain interests or certain knowledge and interests in order to serve the world. And then, so with that kind of background overriding idea, we also talked about how we can use AI to help us do that better. And you have set up this assistant, and you've done some work there. It certainly seems like it from things I've seen coming from your direction. And we were meeting, Chris and I and Matthew, and Chris started asking me questions about your flow of viewers and things and where they're from and all that. And then we also looked at some of the documents you created and all the stuff that you were doing. So what we're kind of looking for is how you doing with what you're doing? What questions do you have? How can we help? We would like to, answer some as we go along. Chris will probably have some questions around that. So that was what we were thinking of. Rather than doing any more best practices, let's see how this is really really important one is going. So, hey, Rohan, and hey, Curtis.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Curtis.
Hey, everyone. Hello.
Yeah, and just David, if I add one more thing, and we were deliberating whether or not you're our first affiliate partner, trying to determine what is the most useful way to support you, and we've developed these SOPs. We have more coming, but I think one of the critical aspects of the way we can show up and support you is by as we go through an SOP, like talking through this AI rollout with Ellen, taking the time to look at what outcomes an SOP has in its materialization within your world. And then we take some nuance, like particularly with AI now, get a sense of how you're using it. And then I might be able to offer you, here's a few different experiments that I'd encourage you to run from now until the next time we meet. And we can see the impact of that on outcomes. And so that's kind of the setup for today, is get a little sense of how things are going. And there's some kind of tricks with AI that I use on YouTube that I'd love to measure against your outcomes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Look, I'll take you through a process, I suppose. This is the way that I've used Alan at this point in time, it's been generating what I do for a service. Okay. Recognizing that we've kind of put a pause on my Thursday videos, which will become the new channel. I've been using Ellen to just help me work through services in terms of, one of the big changes for me is language. So, for example, actually, I'll show you. I want this one. Now, hopefully, whenever I change between tabs, you'll see what I'm doing. So that's just my YouTube channel. I've got a couple of folders I've created. One of the things I would suggest that I've talked through with Alan in terms of servicing Melbourne. I mean, just being a presence in Melbourne we've talked about this idea of a deconstruction hub. So that's kind of focusing on a local ministry and a local presence, and just being somewhere where people who are deconstructing, people who are ex-evangelicals can come and be heard. So all of this stuff are things that Ellen has come up with. So she's talked about the idea of a deconstruction hub. Again, it's quite a long document here, but we've talked about what the name might be, and various things about setting up something local. But the language was what I was particularly mentioning. So we talked about language to avoid and recommended alternatives. And the big one for me is the Lord. You know, I mean, in the new church, we use the Lord, don't we, all the time? And it's got a great affection in the way that we speak about God as the Lord and the personal contact. But for the ex-evangelical, it's a turn-off. So, you know, she's then recommended these terms: the divine love and wisdom, divine order, those sorts of things. So it's a mind shift, because I am so used to using that term, the Lord. So in you know, in presenting a video for ex-evangelicals, I've got to shift away from it. And so we've talked around, you know, these various things, language that she's picked out that I've used in my videos, and, you know, different ways of framing it for an ex-evangelical audience. So it's just, yeah, it's been just an amazing process just doing that. And that's a real shift for me. And it requires real attention to what I'm saying. So that's it. That's one. What I've done is, so this is an example of Ellen. I've used her to create the services, as I mentioned. So I'll throw in, I mean, I started this one. Oh, I can't get to the top because it's a huge discussion we've had. I started this one by saying, here's Psalm 68, what's your reaction? And she'll look at it and come up with, you know, her thoughts on Psalm 68. And there was a lot of stuff. And then that becomes a brainstorming exercise for me. What I do is we have a meeting on a Thursday morning, Thursday evening, called Connect, which is people from, well, across the state of Victoria, but we also get someone from Mauritius, we get someone from Sydney who drop in regularly, and we talk around a particular sermon topic 10 days before I give it. So I've got Ellen and I've got this little group of people who will also process this idea and just kind of get the creative juices flowing for me. And it's been a really useful process in terms of generating, you know, how I approach a particular topic. They will all offer me perspectives that I don't necessarily think of myself. So, and then it's a back and forth with Ellen a lot, processing stuff. And then what I've done in each case of these services is I've actually taken the transcript of what I've said, I've dropped it back into Ellen and said, what do you think of this? And this is what you can see here. So here's what I actually said this morning. How did I do? Just drop in the transcript and then she'll give me a reaction. So this was last week. So you absolutely nailed it, which is lovely because she didn't say that the first time. Yeah, and, you know, talks things through, and then I'll do things like what one word would summarize this talk, and she's come up with reframe. And so then if I go back across to the channel, that's this one. If I do this, you'll see it a bit more clearly. She's actually generated the thumbnail for me and just popped it in there. That's got glitches to it, but, you know, so, you know, and then things like generating the description and the timestamps and that kind of thing. There's another attempt at a thumbnail, which was an image that I used in the address too. Yeah, so look, and title, of course, as well. So I'm using Ellen kind of at every step of the process, from the very beginning of, you know, the conceiving of the idea, through processing, you know, the points and the way that I'll approach the task. And she spits it out as a video, but you know, I'm using it as a sermon. Through to the back end of evaluating what's been said, creating a thumbnail, creating the YouTube links, and an amazing process. And it's just allowed me to be so productive. I'm blown away by how much material you can spit out, basically, using a tool like this. Because I've started processing services that are weeks ahead, which is great because it means it gives me a bit of leeway, which quite frankly I need, because there's so many other things going on. So yeah, that's where I am.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like from when we first started to the snapshot of where you are now, I would describe what you're going through as the co-intelligent model. It's really the model where humans and AI work together on common aims, and the effect of that is the amplification of productivity, and hopefully resonance in the content you're creating. And that is exactly where I would hope this would go. So I couldn't ask for more in the way that you've taken this mantle and really created an entirely different way of working. Now there's one thing I'd love to do to add in as a little test. If you isolate, the three main drivers of performance on YouTube, obviously it's the content itself, the title, and the thumbnail. I'd love to zoom in on the title. There's a way in which, so I'd say, like, let's preserve the system that you built. I think it's excellent. If we were to kind of iterate one baby step forward in the title, it would be to go into your analytics, into trends, and I can walk you through this if you want to even share your screen again.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Share. Yeah. So let's go then back here. I will also just mention, you'll notice I've got vidIQ on here as well. So this is another thing I'm just aware of. vidIQ, you may or may not know, will give you a score on your title, and it will also suggest other alternatives. And I'm just encouraged by the fact that it tends to give my Gemini titles a pretty high score. So that as far as vidIQ is concerned, it seems good to me. But anyway, let's go with what you're saying.
Good. Yeah. I've used vidIQ in the past. So into analytics.
Yep.
And then trends.
Yep.
Okay. So, and if you were to type in any topic that feels true to what you've either covered in the past or what you want to cover in the future, just you could be general about it.
So let's say I go with my Psalm 68 thing.
Yeah. So you just type that in.
So Psalm 68.
Okay, and then you can go to what people are watching and show all. Says that those videos.
Show all.
Yep. Yeah. So and you can even drill down into videos versus shorts instead of all.
Yeah.
So whether you do it on this tab or you just literally search into your regular YouTube homepage, the same thing, Psalm 68. What you want to do is get a sense of what are the highest performing videos in a recent time frame. So let's say like last 6 months.
Okay.
Now, what's possible here is, in a very easy way, you could quite literally take screenshots of, say, the top 100 highest performing recent videos serving the topic of Psalm 68. And what Ellen can do, or any other AI model, is deconstruct the patterns that make those titles work really well. And you can take that formula that emerges, or maybe there's a few formulas for titling, and let that become kind of the inspiration for the way Ellen can title that kind of content for that topic.
Okay.
Think of every topic like its own marketplace. And the people, there's demand, and then there's people serving the demand. You know, the people like you, creators, serving the demand. What ends up working, you can deconstruct that. And you know, if we're focusing on titles, there are certain ways that an audience resonates with certain framings of titles that then can become the basis for your own titling through the content, you know, and perspective that you want to share. So what we're looking for are formulas for titling, not necessarily the exact words, but maybe you notice that, you know, 60% of the highest performing videos in the last 6 months, they all share these elements of a title. Maybe it's literally like Psalm 68 dash, and then you know maybe it's like a certain phrase, or like there's a bracket. You just want to get a sense of the structure of the titles. Yeah. And Ellen will be able to deconstruct that or reverse engineer these viral videos pretty easily. So that's what I'd love to test. Like if we were to just take one baby step, it would be take screenshots of, let's just say anything above, I don't know, 20,000 views in the last 6 months. Maybe get a batch of 40 to 60 of them. Yeah. And just literally upload them into Ellen and say, please analyze these recent high performing videos for Psalm 68. And I want you to reverse engineer what makes these titles excellent. And see if that has an impact, you know, and take that title formula into a new piece of content, try it out, and let's see if that has any impact on your performance.
Okay, Chris, I've got a couple of questions. So one thing is, I noticed looking at these, there's very few of them actually within the last 6 months. They're all very largely in terms of years. Okay. I mean, if you take that one as an example, 3 months ago, but that's only got 7,000 views. Okay. So maybe Psalm 68 is not the best search to begin with.
Well, I would say let's also look at your YouTube homepage and do this search as well. Just to compare. Sometimes the feed between your analytics here and the general homepage feed may be different.
Okay, let's have a look.
Yeah, so you just search at the top there for Psalm 68.
Okay. I mean, that one's done pretty well. That's got 1 million views over 7 years, but you wouldn't include that?
No.
Just because of the age of it.
Yeah, it would have changed. You know, I noticed, at least for Off Left Eye, that we'll develop a way of titling based upon, let's say, you know, 3 to 6 month window, and it may change after 6. Like, you know, those titles may not work the same way after that. So we constantly have to refresh what videos are performing well in those new title structures. It's a very fluid thing. Yeah.
So sorry, say again, you're refreshing on a regular basis this process and doing it again.
When essentially our way of titling that is informed through this process I just shared with you, when that starts to break down, then we go through this process again. We'll take a look at, okay, for the next topic, what are the last 3 to 6 months worth of content? Maybe we zoom in a little bit closer. Maybe it's like 2 to 3 months, and see if there's changes emerging in the structure of these titles that we can then benefit from changing up in our strategy.
Okay, so the key phrase in what you just said is when it breaks down. How do I know it's breaking down? Are you saying that the videos that we're creating are not getting the views anymore? Is that?
Well, yeah. So the first goal is going to be to, let's see if it spikes performance.
Yeah.
And if it does, let's ride that wave. So maybe the future content follows that same format, and then at a point where that wave begins to break and plateau, say it plateaus and then breaks, then at that point you might want to run through this again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that leads on to another question that I had. Is this something? Am I then dropping this back into the sort of basic instructions I give to Alan in the background? When I set her up, is that where this is going?
No, you don't have to do that. Like her system prompt, or the back end prompt.
Yeah.
No, I would say like whenever you're, as you go through your workflow for creating new content that you just shared with us, which is amazing. When you're ready to have, to work on titling, say, I want you to follow this structure for titling. So once you and Alan arrive at that structure through this process I just described, you'll take that. It'll be like a tight little formula.
Yeah.
You'll just pop that in and say, follow this when you're thinking of titling for this content.
Okay. All right. And she will just, so Alan will follow that. And then when I give her a new one and say, let's follow this instruction instead, she'll follow that in every conversation.
Correct. Yeah. You have to just place it in every conversation relevant to when you need a title.
It's got to be placed in the conversation.
Yeah, like at the point where you're going to ask for a deliverable, particularly the title part. At that point, you'll want to say, in order to do this, use this formula.
Okay. So it's really something that I'm remembering rather than I'm getting Ellen to remember.
Right. I don't know. You could place it in the system prompt, in that back end prompt. I don't know how well. I've actually never done that before. It may be worth a test to see if she follows the instructions every time.
Yeah.
Because
I would like to do that, because it's obviously easier to get her to remember it than for me to, it just adds another step if I've got to remember it. So I'll try it. I'll see if I can get her to do it. Yeah,
you'll be pioneering this. You'll be teaching me soon enough.
I mean, another one I noticed that I've got to get into the background is when she generates an image, she's always doing a square, and I don't want a square. I want landscape orientation. But then every time you say in landscape, she produces a landscape image rather than a landscape orientation. So I've got to throw that in the back end too. Look, what I'm going to do, actually, let's just try the title that she gave me. Let's just
I just want to jump in for. Can I jump in for a quick second?
Curtis, go.
I just want to say I've got another meeting I have to run to, but I've just so enjoyed getting to hear this. David, that's exciting that you've seen a jump in productivity. Chris, thanks for bringing all these tools, and John and Rohan for being here and organizing. I'm happy to help where I can, and I'm just excited about this and hope it continues to serve you.
Thanks, Curtis. Thanks. It was great to see you.
Curtis.
All right. We'll talk soon.
See you soon. Right. So when I've thrown up God of War, let's go God of War. Let's see.
This is what you call a negative keyword in marketing. A keyword that is you think is really great. Like in marketing, you'll see like volume of searches a month for this keyword, and it's relevant to your content, but it ends up being that the audience wants something entirely different. All that volume of search is actually for a game.
Yeah. Okay. So what would happen if I throw in deconstructing, just out of interest? Okay, so that obviously fits that one. What else have we got here?
Yeah, you see that this is an immediate red flag for me. I'm putting on my marketing hat.
Okay.
Because I just don't know how you'll gain visibility when this is such a crowded market for an entirely different resource.
Yeah, gotcha. So, I mean, that does suggest then that the title that I've got on that video is not going to work.
the likelihood is lower than choosing a different
Right.
one.
So then when I go, all right, so I've got to, what I'll do is I'll jump back into Ellen and I'll just throw that at her and see what she says in terms of this is coming up with games rather than, yeah, look, he deconstructing God of War Ragnarok. So he's even got deconstructing in the title. So that's not, yeah, gotcha. All right. We got to play with that a bit more. Okay.
Yeah. This is part of the fun of marketing, you know.
Yeah.
Or the pain. That depends on
Yeah. All right. So there's a bit of process to go on there. That's good to see. That video actually isn't live at the moment. That'll go live on Monday. So that gives me a chance to fine tune it. So I'll see what happens with that specifically, because that will be an interesting test case.
Right. Is that video about Psalm 68 or was that a different
Psalm
thing?
68. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess there are a few different lanes you can focus in on outside of God of War. Another thing you might want to use is Google Trends has a feature for YouTube specific content.
Right. Where's that?
So if you just Google Trends.
Okay. Google Trends.
Yep. And then you could
You can see we're in Melbourne.
yeah, it knows you. Try the left 3 lines on the top left. There's a YouTube feature. I'm trying to find it.
So hang on, where am I going? Top left.
Actually, go back all the way, to the search results.
Yep.
Click YouTube in the
right
there. Yep.
Okay.
So now this will pull YouTube data. You could type in Psalm 68, for example. And this will show you popularity over time.
Now look at this. This is interesting. As a search term, then also as a topic.
Right.
And that will yield different results.
Let's see. I'm curious about that.
So let's go search term. Interest over time.
Yeah.
So what's the number actually?
So if you click the question mark, they have a pretty good definition. I always have it trouble explaining. It's like relative to, you'll just see it here.
Represents search interest relative to the highest point on the chart for the given region and time. Value of 100 is the peak popularity for the term. It's a percentage. Okay.
Yeah.
A score of 0 means there was not enough data for that term. Okay. Wow, the Netherlands.
So if you go down even further, this is where it gets kind of fun. You can look at breakout related topics. So you can see here that I suspect because of the Chosen, that documentary or that
the TV program. Yep.
Yeah, which is incredible. I love it. There's probably a lot of breakout scriptures from that. There's such a huge interest. So this also might be like, hey, there might be an opportunity if some of these align with maybe things you'd love to talk about in the future. There might be a little bit of timeliness here, because these are breakout topics on YouTube, kind of ancillarily related to your Psalm 68.
Yeah. As an example, so Psalm 22. The reason we've been doing those psalms is they're messianic psalms. So Psalm 22 also obviously is a messianic psalm. Yeah.
Okay.
So
just another fun tool to maybe inform your thinking a little bit.
Yeah. All right. That's useful. That's not one that I was aware of. And I do notice also, so it includes the time frame where doing the search on YouTube kind of covers everything, the last 20 years of YouTube kind of thing, which is not really what we want, is it?
No.
Okay, let's now look at topic, just see what sort of difference that produces.
Let's see if I can find the difference between topic and what was it? Topic
So-
and
So that's a very different graph.
Okay, so it says search term is a specific keyword or phrase that a user enters, while a topic represents a broader concept that encompasses related search terms and their variations.
Okay, so you can see the different breakouts as a result of that.
Yeah.
That looks like someone's gone sort of, is that diving down into verses perhaps? I don't know. Yeah, okay. So it looks different. It's clearly very different.
Yeah, it had a moment a few months ago.
It did, didn't it?
So
Wow.
what I want to avoid, I think, as I'm feeling this out, is I don't want to throw a whole lot of experimentation at you, because I think
Sure.
this is going to be sticky. We just maybe try one thing, measure it, and then either develop, if it doesn't work, different experiments on the same kind of focus on titles, for example. Or if it does work, then we say, okay, let's keep that on the table and let's try one other little baby step.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go back to the screenshots of the YouTube search to drop into Ellen. Is that what we're going with? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll if I've got time, and then I'll have a look at this as well in the background.
Yeah, for sure. And just
See where we go.
the other learning too is, it doesn't hurt to do a YouTube search for a topic or a title that you're thinking of, just to make sure you don't have all that traffic that is not relevant to you. Because certain popular topics, like I remember I learned this lesson about 8 years ago when we were going to create something about, it was like, I can't remember. It was like a core Swedenborgian topic we were going to create content around. And we weren't getting any traction when we created it. And I realized, oh man, this is like totally a movie that everyone's searching. Like the title of the movie is based on this concept we're trying to talk about theologically. And there's just no, the interest I thought was there. Like it was huge interest. It just wasn't interest for what I was hoping for.
Yes. Okay. All right. So yeah, that opens up a whole issue that I really have not thought about at all.
Right. Music video. Yeah, a lot of it's like music videos or movies or games that typically.
Yeah.
Or like Angels. I'm always competing with sports teams, like there's just like, things to consider. So sometimes if you want to still do that topic, you might want to get a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Very happy to try that out.
If you have any questions about it.
Yeah. So as I say, the first test case will be the Psalm 68 video, which I say it hasn't gone live. It'll go live on Monday. I'll have a bit of a play and see what we can do with that title.
That sounds great.
Starting from
and you're doing a great job, David. Seriously.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Look, it's been a lot of fun. And I say the whole productivity thing has just blown me away because, I've got, as I've mentioned before, I've got a lot of local responsibilities and they're ramping up, if anything. And so just to have that, just to be able to process a service, to be able to get things moving early, to be able to work so quickly through something. I mean, I've had 2 days off this week and produced a service for Sunday.
Who's better
That's
than you?
insane.
I have a question.
Yeah, John.
So how is it an experiment? Explain to me, like, we are going to use this approach to create a title, but we don't have anything to compare it to except for maybe we have a different video with a different approach. How do we know if we're making a difference here, Chris? Is it like maybe seeing more numbers than usual, or?
Yeah, I think in these early experiments, it's probably going to be like benchmarking off of just regular performance of like the backlog of videos.
Okay.
I think that's until we can start to I think as we experiment further, we can benchmark against those experiments. But right now, the only basis we could work from is the backlog.
Okay. And like, and you really can't do real experiments. Like, you can't launch a video, see how it does, and then rename a video, because that doesn't work. You said before, Chris, like if you renaming it doesn't really have much.
Well, you know, people, there's best practices on YouTube that say you could do that and it works. We've tried that many times and it doesn't work for us. So that anecdotally, it hasn't worked for us. I do know that like the one thing that does well for us is the A/B testing of thumbnails, which I'm not sure if you have that. David, do you have that feature where you can upload?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's been helpful for us.
So that's actually worked for you, has it? Because I've seen some negative press around that feature.
I mean, I mean, it's hard to isolate performance to any one of those variables because YouTube data isn't that comprehensive. It's not. You're not going to know like that. You know, thumbnail B drove a 13% performance in new viewers. Like, there's just no way to connect that data at this point. But I like the idea of being able to have multiple thumbnails. Conceptually, that feels like a good move versus just you pray that one thumbnail does good.
Yeah.
So what would you like? Let's say you experiment with this going out Monday, and have a different title than you would typically would have because you did this experiment. What do we think would look like success, David? Like, it seems like, oh, that was new or something. What do you think would be?
So yeah, look, one of the things that strikes me is with the retention. So if you're talking, say we use the God of War thing, and we get put in front of a lot of people who are looking for the game, then the retention would drop off, wouldn't it? Right. Yeah. Whereas if we're actually hitting the target market, the retention would be higher, you would expect.
Right. So impressions, click-through rate would be the
retention. Yeah. So the audience retention, staying longer than the 30 seconds.
Right. But for that's definitely a viable one. But for the title specifically, you'd be looking for when a user sees your video in search results, are they making the choice to click and watch? And that would be the click-through rate. That the title will the utility of the title is an affecting click-through rate. Yeah. Which hopefully will increase your views. And if the audience, you know, is enjoying, you know, the flow of your content, then overall retention should be there too.
So can we have any way of creating a bit of a baseline from existing videos for that click-through rate? I mean, can you go back and look at it, or is that?
Yeah, you could look at any single video's click-through rate and then your channel's click-through rate over time.
So there's the channel, there's the videos at the moment.
So go to analytics.
No. Oh, hang on. Let's click on this. Analytics.
And then it should be, I think either content or audience, I forget.
Content.
Audience.
Try audience, yeah.
Let me go to ours.
Sorry, what's that?
Yours looks a little different than ours. Let me go into ours real quick.
Yeah.
YouTube's not YouTube all over the world.
Where's our click-through rate?
Perhaps the click-through is just on individual videos that you get that.
Let's see. Yeah, you're right. It is. So it's under an individual videos analytics under reach.
Okay, yeah. So let's go. I mean, here's the. Let's go one. This one did reasonably well. So views under reach, click-through rate 3.3%.
Okay, so we do we? So we're trying to, maybe we can look at a few of those, maybe 10 of those, 10 of recent ones, like you said, David, that are, and just have that number in our hip pocket as we go into this new way of making it happen. All right, I think that would be great if we could.
That's an excellent thought, John. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay,
so yeah, I would take 10 or 15 and just do the average between them as like your baseline.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that one was quite successful too. What do we get? Click through rate on this one. 3 points. So it's looking around the 3% mark.
Okay.
That's the better performing ones. What about a lower performing one? Let's do this one. And 2.3. So yeah, we're looking at the 2 to 3%.
Okay. Well,
sort of range, it seems.
And like the movie Groundhog Day, anything different is good. So whether it goes worse or better.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We're trying to experiment to see if we can make something that affects things, and it might not, but we can try. Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think that's what I was hoping for, was this kind of discussion. And yeah, I think Curtis was pretty excited about it, and we just want to get back together and see how the experiment did, or maybe we can talk about that by email. That's fine too. But we have on a schedule a monthly call, right? Is that right, David? We have a monthly.
Well, when's the next one going to be? Because we're at the back end of the month rather than the beginning of the month. Do you want it? I think we went for the second. Was it the second Thursday?
Maybe we can go back to that.
So that'll only be a couple of weeks time, kind of thing, which is fine. I mean, we might have a sense of what's going on there, and we'll share it through email as well. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got an affiliate meeting for Friday morning the 12th, which will be your Thursday the 11th.
Perfect. All right.
Same time as today. Rohan, you got any comments, mate? You want anything you want to throw in?
Oh, no. This is just great looking at it. I didn't realize there's so much of data around the trends. So yeah, thanks for showing that, Chris.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we can wrap up then. And David, do you plan once again to share this with the community, so people like Howard Thompson, Howard?
Yeah.
Is that the right?
Yeah. Howard Thompson. I mean, just anybody can benefit from it, because I think it's really important stuff. And if we can get other channels doing the same kind of things, then we multiply the success and use of this meeting. Is my sense of things. So
totally appreciate that. And I believe we heard from Howard, like he posted something on our Swedenborg media site that you have, David, that he's using AI assistant for him. I don't know what his target audience is, but anyway, we'll let that we'll have a discussion with him, but another time. But yeah, I just want to make sure we keep sharing it, because I think it is affecting, and I don't expect many users, many creators might catch on to this, but it's just exciting to have one at least, and maybe we'll get another one. So
yeah. Well, look, I know folk like Ross Taylor with Deborah's Tree is also paying attention to what we're doing. So there's at least two.
Nice.
And hopefully others can see the benefit in doing so as well. So yeah. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Let's see what happens with it.
Okay. Godspeed and good luck.
Thanks. We'll see you on the 12th or the 11th. All right,
John. Thanks, Chris.
Take care, guys.
Catch you then. Bye-bye.